Welcome to the Slamming Door Sessions, a reality creation podcast where we slam the door to anything that is not our ideal. With your amazing hosts, Jay Wow, Kristen M.F. Clark, and authentic Cynthia Sena Serravalle. Join us in a radical embodiment of our ideal states. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here with us again. Welcome to the Slamming Door Sessions podcast. My name is Cynthia. My state is Authentic Cynthia. And I'm here with the amazing Jay Wow. And our third host is the amazing Kristen M.F. Clark, but she is having her adventures elsewhere today, but she is with us in spirit. So thank you very much for being here with us. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share, and all those amazing things that support our beautiful podcast. And so today we have a very exciting one. We're going to discuss amazing things. So Jay, can you tell us the topic for today?
Absolutely. Yes. I am Jay Wow. And yes, shout out to our fellow door slammer, Kristen M.F. Clark, who is having the time of her life. So today we are going to talk about, we are going to talk about how we view physical reality and how we view action within that. So inspired action, the types of actions that we take when, within the manifesting space, essentially. So what I'd like to do is just sort of start talking about a little bit of context for physical reality, and basically just say that the way I look at it, we are experiencing different dimensions. As a human being, we have various different dimensions that we experience and we live within, and a few of them being the 4D, which I believe is imagination. So imagination, Christ, the creator, essentially, the inner being, the inner man, inner woman, inner person. And I believe that imagination, so that 4D, is essentially the inputs, all the inputs that go in. Before I go too deep into that, I believe there are also other realms, including like the spirit world, which, I'm not exactly sure what number that is. I think some people might call it like a 5D. I'm not really sure if it has a number, but and then of course we have 3D. So physical reality, right now I look around and, I'm within a building, within a physical reality here on Earth. And, that we have in this physical reality, we have certain laws, such as gravity. If I were to jump off of a building, chances are, I'm going to land. I'm going to land, and there's going to be a certain reaction here, in the physical reality. So I think that, as far as context goes, I definitely wanted to paint a little bit of picture. Do you have any thoughts on that or anything to add to that, Cynthia?
In terms of 3D and 4D and 5D, so of course the 3D is the physical reality, and the 4D is imagination. And the cool thing about 4D is that you transcend space-time. So when you are in imagination, when we talk about 4D, is there we have this possibility of playing with everything being now. So there is no separation between the past, the present, and the future, because that is just an illusion of our 3D experience. but it's not, yeah, it's not real. So the cool thing about working or going into imagination or the 4D is that there we get to play with all these amazing things being now and always going back to the now and playing with modifying the things from the past that they seem always so unchangeable, you know, but they aren't. And so that is a very nice idea. And then the 5D, so it's interesting because what I've heard about the 5D is, like you said, like this connection to the spiritual part of us. In a sense, it's kind of hard to explain, but at least what I've heard or what I've understood is that when people refer to the 5D is this this connection to our spiritual side, if you will. But it's an interesting concept because aren't we all spiritual, you know, like in every moment? I wouldn't say that we need to have anything to do to get to the 5D in order to connect to our spiritual, like the spiritual part of us. So, but I don't know, it is interesting, and I would like to play with that a little because I did a, you could say, like a course or a coaching program with a coach, like a manifestation coach, that included the 5D and the connections to the 5D, if you will. And it was in the very beginning, like when I was learning about manifestation. And, you know, it was this mix between Neville and the ego and the higher self at the time. Like, it was so interesting because it is a very, like, they are very interesting topics, but it's not something that Neville has talked about, you know, like Neville is not about the ego and the higher self. But however, I did have this experience where I remember I was revising a situation. So we were learning about revision, and I was revising this scene that I had as a memory. And then it was very sad, right? I was feeling very sad at the moment of the revision. And these were my first attempts at revising things. And so I had revising a couple of things. It was like the second week of the program. So the second week that I was learning about all manifestation level and all of this. And so it was the second week, and I was doing my first attempts at revision, and I had revised a couple of things. And then I decided to revise this story that was very emotional for me, like this scene. And I was very, very emotionally, like feeling bad. And so at that moment, since the thing it was that the connection with the higher self, I said, just like, higher self, just help me revise this because I don't know how to do it. Like, it's been really, like, it's being very painful. And so what happened was that it was very interesting because at that moment, it seemed like it was the scene of the memory, and it was like a camera was moving away from the scene, like if it was a movie set, right? And that you could actually see the movie set of the memory that I was trying to revise, that was surrounded by a rope, and I was standing outside of the rope. And all of a sudden I feel like this woman who was me, but my higher self, came and to stand beside me, and she took a pair of scissors from somewhere. I don't know where, but she had a pair of scissors in her hands, and she cut the rope. And the moment she cut the rope, all the sadness that I felt in my chest disappeared instantly. And so that was an interesting experience with what people call the 5D. So even though it's not something that Neville talks about, it was interesting because after that I had, at the time I didn't know it was nothing to do with Neville. was just learning a bunch of things at the same time. But since then, I had other experiences with the higher self, if you will. And because from that moment, I was like, what the heck was that? Like, what was it? Like, how is this even possible that all this pain that you think is like there within you and that it's so hard to get rid of because it's just emotions of something that you remember to have happened, all of a sudden disappeared instantly. And I was like, wow, I was really intrigued. And then so after that, I was like, what is the higher self, right? And I was just doing sets to try to feel the higher self, if you will. And I will like ask the higher self to, okay, I don't want anything in particular, but I would like to just know that you're there. And then I had experiences when I was doing the stats, and I just felt like there was this thing coming. Like I was laying on my bed and I feel like something is coming up the bed and it's like touching my leg, right? And it's coming up, up, up. And I said, oh, great. I'm doing sats and my cat is here in the bedroom. And so I opened my eyes to look at my cat and there was nothing there. So, I was only doing the stats to feel my higher self, right? And then that happened. So it was interesting. And then I had other experiences like that. And then as time went by, and I think I understood better that I am one with God, if you will. So I am God having or expressing itself as Cynthia. I started, I guess, to understand that there was no separation. So I started to have less of that kind of experience where the higher self was something separate from me. So, and the person who was also doing the workshop or the program, she had the same experience. Like she had a lot of experiences with the higher self, but as time went by, she kind of had that same experience where she understood that the divine and her are one and the same. And so she started having less of those experiences as if the higher self was something separate from her. So I don't know, that's my experience with the 5D, which is interesting. And yeah, I think that a lot of people talk about manifesting with the 4D or the imagination, like imagining things or specific scenes or specific things, or using techniques in order to manifest, while people who choose, or at least the way that I learned it, to manifest with the 5D is just this knowing that I am God and I do not need to do anything in order to manifest what I want, other than just knowing that what I choose is what goes. And so I kind of understood that the 5D is more that just embodying my divine self and doing nothing. And then the 4D is like, okay, I'm going to use a little scene, a little affirmation, a little something to use this tool that I have, which is my imagination, to create something in my reality. At least that's my view and my understanding on the 3D, 4D, and 5D.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I love that. I love that story about those visceral experiences, those embodiments of your true self, your higher self, working through you like in such a clear way. So that's really cool. So yeah. Yeah, so that makes me think of, so for example, my partner and I love to watch near-death experience videos. We don't watch them as much anymore, but there was a while when we were sort of binge watching all these NDEs for short. And what we noticed was some of the commonality of talking about how the spirit would separate from the body. They would just be watching their body, and they mentioned, a lot of times they would mention feeling as if they were heaven on earth and feel, in heaven on earth. and experiencing heaven on earth and feeling the most intense love ever. And like that's a pretty common thread from a lot of the videos that I've seen. And actually, it's funny because Kristen ended up making a video on her. I know she made a YouTube video on her NDEs. And one of the things she said was that death is just a state, just another state. You know, if we believe that we're eternal, immortal beings, death is just another state. And so I love that. I love that insight. And for me, the imagination encompasses so much that 40, for me, the 40 actually includes just the feeling of I'm God, and like, you know, that feeling, like I tie it into the 40 as well. Like, I feel like that's one of the faculties. So for me, like imagination is all the faculties. So it's, you know, visual. So just visualizing something in the mind's eye. It's the hearing, which is my favorite. It's just knowing. Let's see what else. And then there's like taste, there's like kinesthetic and touch. So all of those, so like while our physical body can do all those things, we can hear, you know, we literally hear things in the 3D with our real ears, with our outer physical ears. You know, we see with our physical eyes, we touch with our fingers, you know, all of those, we have all of those faculties. You know, everyone that's blessed to have those faculties in their physical body, you know, does do that. But then imagination, you have all of that, and you have all of those senses and all of those faculties imaginally. And what that means is that there is absolutely nothing off limits to you. So, you know, it's, once I really got that, it's kind of been an evolving of that, and like how sort of like the frequency of how often I'm just in my imagination, just having the time of my life. I'm just hearing the most wonderful things. I'm just seeing the most wonderful things. You know, it's really gotten to the point now where I just, if it's not what I prefer, you know, imaginally, and you know, then it's not real, you know, that whole phrase, the whole Brian Tucheron phrase, if it's, you know, if it's not real, if it's not my ideal, it's essentially. So, so the physical to me, and I think that I don't know if you have anything to comment on, you know, what I said, or I can move on to the next piece.
Well, just that, you know, I think that I haven't said like or used 3D or 4D or 5D for a very long time. It's like now it's just physical world and imagination. And those are the only things, like, or physical world and the state. Yeah. So I think that for me, in my language, if you will, like it has evolved to the point where it's only like physical reality and state of being, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, the state. Yeah, that's a big one for sure. And something that I find help, you know, to help me get into the state is, you know, going to imagination and hearing the things I want to hear, experiencing what I want to experience. And that helps me embody the state more consistently, I think. And, you know, just knowing there's really only room for love in there. And, you know, in imagination, there's no fear, there's nothing to fear. You know, so that, yeah, it's just, I find it very freeing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think that is also a choice to make imagination our happy place, because I mean, we can choose to have other things in there, but we can definitely say, no, imagination is my happy place from now on, and make it so. So that's a nice thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like to make it better than Disney World.
Yeah.
So yeah, so as far as, yeah, so the way I look at it, it's sort of like imagination, or just knowing that your true self is God, just knowing that, you know, that's basically, to me, the way I look at it is that's the input. So that's the input that is going to eventually outpicture it, well, either immediately or eventually, right? So I just look at it like that. So when I look around at my physical reality, whether it's something I love or something that, is not so great, so the farts in the wind, either way, I know that it's output. And so I know that if there is a fart in the wind, I just go back into, I can just go back into my imagination and fix it there. I can fix, if there's something that's showing up that I don't like, I can just say, okay, I'm going to pick something new. And, just do that, because it's the physical reality. Yeah. It's the output from whatever's been fed into it.
And I think that just the awareness of what the real cause is, and to invert, this illusion that the cause is on the outside, and then we just react to things that are happening around us and that we don't have any control, like when we moved out of the state of being a victim, and then we realize, oh, wait a minute, I am the cause. My imagination is the cause. My state of being is the cause. That is very freeing, because then you just get to choose whatever you want. So yeah, I love the realization that the real cause is us. And then the physical reality is just the effect. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Once you get that, it really is freeing, because it's like nothing can, nothing can rattle, I feel like nothing can rattle me. And I had a teacher once in a class, the term she used was unmessable with. Kind of like, you can't mess with me,
Yeah.
you know?
I heard another one. I don't know where it comes from, but it's unfuckwithable.
Yes. That is awesome. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't trade that for anything. I feel that feeling is, yeah, awesome. And so, yeah, as far as like, okay, well, in order to have our desires come true, or in order to manifest things big and small, like, what do we have to do? So I know Neville Goddard used to say, once you feel your fulfilled wish, what is there to, I'm paraphrasing, once you feel the fulfillment of your wish, what is there to do? And then he would say, nothing. And essentially what, he's saying is that if it's done in consciousness, then the right people will come your way, the right situations, you will be led. It's not like now, if you lock yourself inside of a shipping container, okay, after you feel your wish, which is kind of weird, but let's say or even your house, right? You lock yourself somewhere physically. Now, does that mean that you could lock yourself somewhere and it doesn't matter what your wish was, that you could do that and it'll still happen? I mean, that's kind of a ridiculous example, but like, I think some variation of it still would come about. Someone will probably knock on your door. It's like, I really believe that. Because I think it sort of works through telepathy a lot of the time. But I think for me, what this has meant, and I've actually even somewhat recently, I've embraced this idea more of truly not feeling like there's anything I have to do. Like, I might write emails, I might, send out a meeting request, or I might, type something, but it's very effortless. It's very just, I'm inspired to do it. And I know even that I don't have to do it. Like, I could not do it and I'll still, it will still, my manifestation will still outpicture, in the 3D. And honestly, too, my idea, I'm diverting a little bit, but even for me, there's a lot of stuff that even just having it in my imagination and just knowing that at any time I just go there and I just experience it. I don't care as much about even whether it does come. And I know it's, I know everything that I feel is the wish fulfilled will come if I continue, if it's even something that I still want or whatever. But I just don't think about it as, I don't look for things, I mean, yes, I need a place to live physically, but, beyond that, it's more, it's just, I just know that there's nothing that I have to do. And I used to really feel like there was a lot that I had to do physically.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you and with Neville that there's nothing that we need to do. And I love that. Like, I love that so much because it takes away that, I guess, that figuring things out, okay, so I imagine, and what should I be doing now? Okay, how do I make this happen and all of that? And it's not necessary. And whatever you do, it's inevitably going to take you where you imagined yourself to be. So I remember this story and this idea of you locking yourself up in your house. So what happened was I wanted a new mattress. And, I just wanted a new mattress and I didn't want to go to the store and choose a new one. And there was a kind of specific kind of mattress that I wanted that is not the regular one. And yeah, but I didn't feel like going to the store and having to take it back here and having to figure out what to do with the old one and where to throw it out and go and throw it out and whatever. I didn't imagine anything actually, but one day someone rings at my apartment and is this person saying like, "Hi, I'm selling mattresses. Would you like one?"
Yes.
And I was like, "Oh, yes, I actually I do." So he said, "Okay, come down. I have like the trunk, the truck here, and you can come and see the different kinds that we have." Okay, so I go, and this is France. Like, I'm from Argentina, from Buenos Aires, and yeah, in Argentina, Buenos Aires, you can have a lot of people coming, selling different things to you at your door and ringing, or just going down the street and you can go and stop them. So to buy things. But here, I had never seen it. I had never experienced it. I have never heard anyone talking about, oh, this person rang in and they were offering something for sale. Never. And here was this guy with his truck full of mattresses, and he shows me the one that I wanted, that was perfect for me. I didn't do, and not only that, he brought it up and he grabbed the old one and he took it with him. I had to do nothing. And the thing that I wanted fell on my lap, ring the door, and came exactly like effortless, and yeah, nothing to do, and the thing came to me.
Yes.
And not only that, but in a situation that is completely unheard of, at least here in the city that I live in. So yeah, there's nothing to do other than to experience what you want into imagination. And or not even that, like just knowing, just deciding this is what I want, because I didn't even imagine anything. I just said, I want a mattress and I want this kind of mattress. That's it.
Yeah.
And but on the other hand, when you do things, and this goes to into inspired action, it's like when you just let your state lead you, then you're going to do whatever has to be done, which can be something completely unrelated to what you would think you should do in order to get what you want. And so sometimes we're led to do these random things that after you do them and after you see your wish fulfilled, you say, oh my God, look at how it unfolded. And it had nothing to do with anything that you could consciously, rationally think as the means to get what you want. So now for me, it's just either deciding what I want or doing something in my imagination, like experiencing in my imagination, and go and have a tea, or go and sunbathe or go and have a picnic. It's like I can imagine, or I can just know, and I can just decide, and then I go and enjoy my life. And that is all that is required.
Yes, absolutely. I think now for me, like the physical world, the physical actions I take, it's almost like just like if I were to win a jackpot at the casino, and it says, rare, rare, the thing's going off and it's like jackpot winner, like, I do need to get up off of the chair and maybe walk over to the cashier and say with a slip or something and say, okay, yep, I got the jackpot. Like those steps to walk over to collect my winnings, like that's the amount of effort I need to do in the physical reality. And probably sometimes they might even come to you. So which is even better. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I have kind of a story too about even recently, I just decided I want to go on a cruise. And so I just, I basically just said, yep, I'm going on a cruise. I didn't really give it any parameters. I just felt led, I just felt the desire to go on a cruise. And, in the past, I might have like gone on the internet and like looked around and, just like even done something like that to like get more information about it or what I could do. But actually the next morning, my partner let me know that he purchased 3 cruise tickets, for him and then my family member and me to go on a luncheon cruise, pretty close to us. And so it was just like, okay. I mean, I didn't have to do anything. So it was, yeah, I mean, I love the manifestations like that. I love being hands off and just not worrying, I mean, yeah, it's fun to look. I mean, it still is fun to look at vacation spots and things like that, but I just love that one because I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. And I think both, there's no one better than the other, because at the same time, it is enjoyable to say, oh, am I going to buy this mattress, or am I going to buy that one, or this color or that color or whatever? Or the same thing, like going on vacation. Oh, look at this spot and look at this spot. And then you can see all the places that you would like to visit. So that is nice, but it is enjoyable. And I think there is a difference between actions that are done with this feeling of I am enjoying myself, and actions that are done with the feeling of effort in like this, oh, I have to do this in order to manifest what I want, and it feels like forced and it feels like uncomfortable or whatever, then that, sure, you can definitely get what you want by doing that, of course. But then you actually get to choose what kind of action do you want to experience? What kind of unfolding do you want to experience? How do you want it to feel? And actually, and also not doing any action at all. So that, but I don't think that one is better than the other. I just think they're just part of enjoying life and doing nice things.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, very cool. Very cool. Anything else we want to add about this topic?
No, I think that's it. It was really nice.
Well, great. Well, I think, yeah, that'll bring our session today to a close. Thank you for the wonderful discussion.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for tuning in, for being with us here today. We send a lot of love to all of you, to Kristen as well. Looking forward to having her again next week. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, and have a great week. See you soon, guys.
Yes, thanks everybody. And if you'd like to be a guest as well, you can go to the description box down below, or you can go to bit.ly/slamdoorsessions, and you'll be able to find a form where you can express interest in being a guest. Thank you guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.